Let's face it, getting older sucks. Getting older in the age of social media is even worse. Do you hate it when people tell you to age gracefully? Do you want to know how to live your best life at any age? Well, so do we. First rule, don't call me ma'am. Now, here's Jodi Miller.
Hey everyone, welcome to Don't Call Me Ma'am. Don't fucking call me ma'am. I'm Jodi Miller, and today we have a very special guest. It's part 2 of Jamie Kennedy and the Hawaiian shirt. And I say part 2 because I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and I mean, this is it. It's like almost like Hawaii 5-0.
Did you do that for me?
I did it for you, actually.
You look so good in it. Like, seriously, can we be honest about that? Like, you look.
Yeah.
It's working for you.
Thanks.
This is where I'm almost 50, Jodi, and I don't feel a day over 48. But this is. I kind of like figured out what this is. This is like comfy. It's like, hey, man.
Yeah, I need to know when you decided to, because you definitely, I think it was within the last year, you made a hard choice to only wear Hawaiian shirts. And I mean, look, as someone in their 40s too, I get it. We make a decision. We're going forward. This is going to be our look from now on. And especially as a comic, I've gone through my different looks on stage. Do you remember when it was that you were like, Hawaiian shirts?
I honestly think it had to do with like the last year, and I think that you had a lot to do with it. And I think it's you. I think it's in the zeitgeist, and it's James Purse. So we're on to something, and you're fashion forward, because I start doing your show. Funny you should ask. And you have to bring 17 changes. And I'm like, okay, so what's an easy shirt to have? And then I had like one or two kind of like, not so much Hawaiian, but loud print shirts.
Right.
And like your seat is my seat. Every seat has a motif. And my seat is like, party guy, life of the party, no drama, whatever you need, guy. What
Can't
do you
get your day card.
Yeah, like whatever. Can't get my day card. Hey, you holding? I'll get you some. Where do you want to bury that? Don't worry, guy. Need a burrito? And so I'm like, fuck, this like is easy to get. So it started with that MO. It started with I had a couple.
Okay.
It started with easy to go. It started with the show. It started with the look. It started with the feeling good. It started me going on stage, being photographed, looking good. Then I go to James Purse and I have a discount and the lady gives me that.
Holy
And I'm
shit.
like, oh shit. This is like in the zeitgeist, and it's like that.
It's meant to be.
And Alyssa, my friend, she also gave me something. It's so I think you and it being out there, you're fashion forward. And then James Purse copied Jodi Miller.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say that James Purse copies me. You're not the first to say that. It's definitely, I mean, breaking news on the Don't Call Me Ma'am podcast.
But can I add to this?
Yeah.
I'm a white guy, almost 50.
Yeah, we need to talk about that.
Act 15. And I feel like this is like just basically saying no problematic. You know, they say that's a white male who's non-problematic. You ever hear that term?
Yes.
I'm basically saying no problems here, whatever you need, because that's where we're at. Although
I agree with you with that. If I saw a guy, you know, wearing a Hawaiian shirt, a print shirt like that, I might think he's non-problematic, but I also might think he gets wasted and causes problems. So, I mean, it's a little bit of both. Like, you could definitely, you know what I mean?
I definitely have my own little rum lounge outside of Daytona. It's definitely there. I definitely like cougars. I definitely like MILFs. And
do you say you like cougars? Because you're almost 50. So if you're fucking a 70-year-old right now.
My inner child's not. Also, I can get you ketamine. That's what the shirt says. I don't really do it that much, but if you need it, I can get you ketamine. Okay.
You heard it here first, guys. That's what that shirt means. So the next time I see somebody with a Hawaiian shirt on, be like, yo, ketamine.
Ketamine.
For those of you who don't know what it is, that's a cat tranquilizer, and they're using it to treat depression. And my cat has never been depressed, so I think it works.
And if anyone likes cats, tranquilizers you. But also, it looks like I could be drinking a drink out of a coconut.
Well, obviously.
But I also like that I would have my coconut might be laced. It's a little edge to me, hopefully, with my
like
coconut.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fact that you're turning 50 soon. How do you feel about it?
Deeply, honestly, there's a lot going on.
No, I need to know because I just had a birthday and it definitely, it used to never trigger anything. Remember when birthdays were just a time to get fucking wasted and you're just like, whatever. And then somewhere after like 40, all of the birthdays were like, oh my God, like, what the fuck?
Here's it. I'll speak on it and you can edit how you want. It's a lot of emotions for me, but the best thing that could happen to my 50th in a way is the pandemic.
Really? Why?
Because it takes the pressure off. It takes, I had a huge 30th, I had a big 40th, I had a huge 35th. I've had some good parties that from 45 on, there was only one party I didn't have last year. But this is my 50th, both my parents passed away, but I'm very fortunate. They lived a long time. I'm the youngest so they went way past the due date. I am feeling, well, I mean, tell me the truth.
It's more like an expiration date if we're being honest.
And I'm like, questioning, like my friends are few and far between. It's like, I'm a lot like you, or you and I are like, work first. Oh, a relationship develops out of it. That's cool. But work, we both love work. It actually gives us joy. There's a lot of kinship with you and I.
Yeah.
And I think that you're an alpha solo. I'm like that. And I feel that like I'm starting to like questioning a lot of like, oh, well, maybe I should have watered that garden a little bit more, because I'm like looking at all the stuff and wondering what my real relationships are. So I'm actually taking a deep dive.
Wow.
And it's good. And I think I just need to get through the 50, because once I do, I'm going to be on my next chapter. But there's a lot of going on of like, I don't want to be too maudlin, but like, who really cares about me? That's what I'm thinking about at 50, because I'm in the place of no bullshit. I cannot hang with people that, like, I could talk to you right now, talk to you about anything, call you up at 3 a.m, say something, even though I've known you for a long time, but I've only really known you the last 2 years.
Right.
But there's a shared spirit there.
There's definitely a shared spirit.
And there's a shared spirit there with you, Melissa McQueen, and people of that. Doesn't mean I see them a lot.
Okay, don't talk about other girls when you're on my podcast. Okay, you're almost 50. You should fucking know better. Well, here's the thing. I think the quarantine and the lockdown has forced a lot of people to reevaluate their life. I definitely have had it, ups and downs. I mean, the truth is that the older we get, who are the people in our life? Like, we're on lockdown alone. It's totally different than people that are on lockdown with a significant other, a child, even a roommate for that matter. So when you're on lockdown alone, you are like, wow, I'm really alone. If the world just came to an end now, I would be alone. Do you know what I mean? If I got really sick, I would be alone. So it sort of strips away all of the bullshit of ego, who has more fans, who's more famous, who's got a better house, who's got this, because when you're dealing with something like this, all that shit is gone and it's just us. And all of us have been forced to like take a beat and like reevaluate everything. And I don't know, 50 is a huge milestone. It's amazing. You look amazing. And you know what I mean? Like, we're living longer, you're in great shape, but it does make you reevaluate your life choices. Now, here's the thing. I think I might have had a realization before you, because I'm a woman and we're constantly reminded that our eggs are drying up, we're not going to have kids. So the second a woman can't have kids anymore, she's considered like, over the hill, not a woman anymore.
Just
like,
an old boot. Just get rid of that boot.
I'm an old boot. But I'm like a designer boot, guys. I'm not like an old like Kmart boot. Sorry, Kmart, but you're not
a woman who can't have kids anymore is considered that lady at the beach that smokes Virginia Slims, really doesn't wear any sunblock. I'm kidding.
Do you remember the Capri cigarettes? Do you remember those really thin cigarettes?
Yeah.
Did you ever smoke? Were you a smoker?
No. But you know the type I'm talking about, the Jersey Shore. The Jersey Shore lady that just comes out and that skin is a brown. It's a Roots bag.
Yes.
Remember the brand Roots from Canada? It's
her husband comes out in a Hawaiian shirt. I I don't know. Just
But he's fat. This is like post-ironic, cool, ironic. This is different. But
listen,
yeah.
everybody on the Feeding America benefit saw your ass. So there's nothing, you can't hide anything anymore.
By the way,
Yeah.
I was proud of our production, yours and myself. You had 2 co-stars, one breathing, one not. Depends on what you
don't
do
know.
with it. And I had my roof and my bullhorn, a little co-star, and it was real people, and that was a lot. And I'm so happy we did it.
So happy we did it. For those of you who are listening to this podcast or watching this podcast right now and you don't know what we're talking about, go to the Weather Channel, Local Now, Feeding America, watch the benefit we did, the Feeding America Comedy Festival. It was amazing, and you should watch it. A lot of amazing comics, like Jamie and myself. We raised a lot of money for Feeding America.
How much did we raise?
You know, right now they're still, because they're, you know, their lines are still open, so people can still donate. So up to date, they do it by like meals. So they've raised enough money for 16 million meals, which is amazing. Amazing.
What?
16 million meals.
I got to take credit for a couple of those snacks.
You definitely do. I mean, I think a couple of those meals had your name on it.
Definitely.
So here's the thing. Let's say that the world wasn't the way it is right now and we were, you know, out and about. By the way, you and I, that was my last live show I did with you at the Stand.
I know. I feel like I have a moment in history with a few people, and you're one of them now.
Yeah, that was it.
You and I.
We went to dinner.
We went to the Stand, which is a great comedy club in New York. We were basically in the butthole of the virus.
And it was packed. It was packed.
It was packed, and it was packed with young, spreading millennials. And they were drunk off their ass, and they were hugging, and they were taking pictures to both of us.
Yep.
And we were like being great. High-fived a couple of New York comics, said goodbye to Adele at the Stand. We bounced, and we went to like 48th Street, had a killer steak at the Red Eye Grill, and you had a couple of Johnny Walkers. I don't want to talk about that.
Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels. And we were looking around, and you're like, Jamie, did you rent the place out for me? And I'm like,
yes, this was like the first restaurant. This restaurant was like, it looked closed.
And people are like, mademoiselle. Like, they were like, it was like I took you to Paris.
It is.
For our non-existent honeymoon. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like, Jodi, I want to take credit. And then like some dumbass family came in, and of course they put us all in the same section. And I'm like,
I know, the whole restaurant is completely empty, and they put it together.
And then the Spreadersons come in.
They put
and then literally in the middle of the dinner, you're like, the NBA's canceled. And I'm like, what? And then you're like, can I have another Jack Daniels? And you're like, 5 a.m. JetBlue, let's go. And I'm like, and that was it. Because I was like, maybe I'll kick it in New York a day or two.
Were you going to stay for real?
I was thinking about it, but I knew the virus was coming. But
yeah, you were way more paranoid than I was.
Yes. And then so let me explain it to the people. So then I come, we fucking have a great breakfast, and we bounce. The plane's half full. Mm-hmm. I'm sleeping half the time, mask. You're half a mask. And I'm like saying, you know, the world's going to blow up, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, it's not that bad. I'm like, this is terrible. And you're like, it's not that bad. A couple sniffles. You catch an Uber. I have to go to the toilet. I do grab shit. Then I catch my Uber. It's raining. And here we are. And you're still like, it's not that bad.
It's just the sniffles.
It's just the sniffles. But you were being positive. And I'm like, I think so. But so literally, though, when it shut down, it was you and me.
Yes, it was. It was. We were like, I think everybody's going to remember kind of where they were when they realized that everything was shutting down. And I was with you, and I'm glad I was. And you're right. You were absolutely right. I didn't think it was. I was definitely one of those people that thought it's not going to be that bad.
You're like Bill Cosby. You're like,
I am actually Bill Cosby.
You were like,
it was a lot of women.
They were like, he drugged and fucked 73 women. You're like, 72. You're 72.
I mean, one doesn't even count. That's still.
Edit that out.
So wait, here's the thing. It's like you were already wearing a mask, and I was like, what are you doing? Like
I'll tell you why after you tell me.
because you sort of knew, and you're a hypochondriac, and you're an old Jewish woman living in a Hawaiian shirt, and that's.
Listen, I'm partly Jew, I think. Here's the deal. I had been sick 3 times up until I haven't been sick since, which is bizarre. So I was sick. I went to Italy.
Right.
And I had this weird something that's like between a sinus or whatever, and I was feeling like shit for a week, but I was in Italy, so I overlooked it.
Right.
Then I had a gig at the Blue Note in Hawaii, and I had that same kind of like,
right.
And I just was go to bed, and I would get some sweats, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was also hot, so I didn't know. Then I went to a convention, a horror convention, did 2 days in Pittsburgh, which is taking pictures with the people,
right.
They pay autograph, a lot of
people,
tons, and it was a big one because it was a Scream reunion. That night, I flew out, went to Detroit, 2 planes, did the Comedy Castle, which is an incredible club, like dead to the world, like got off the plane right on stage, came back, ate a meal, didn't sleep, came home, violently ill. This was December 9th, like throwing up, like a demon was inside of me, shaking, like the worst, in bed, 2 days on broth, and I was being taken care of, being watched over, and boom, I beat whatever it was. The third day, I don't want to tell you this, but no, the 4th day, I went to Funny You Should Ask. So I had 2 days, a day off, and then Funny You Should Ask, and I felt amazing. And I just said, oh, I was like our last tape day in December.
Yeah, well, we didn't know it was going to be the last tape. I was preparing for the next tape day.
No. So that was that. In December, we have the holidays. I'm fine.
Oh, you're talking about in December.
Yes.
I think right now. Oh.
No, I'm talking in December. I then go, and I'm like just doing stand-up, and I'm feeling great all over Christmas, all that stuff will work. And sure enough, around December, I start reading shit because I read Reddit. I don't care. Judge me. And I'm hearing this shit.
Much?
And I start talking to my nephew, who's a little bit of a conspiracy too. And he's like, I go to Chicago Valentine's Day weekend. I'd already done some gigs. I read that the first case of coronavirus is outside of Schaumburg where I'm playing.
Right.
There's already nothing available. I go to True Value and I pick up masks and gloves. Hardware store still had it. The owner, Stephanie, you made fun of me. She's like, what are you doing, baby? We're going to the radio. Mancow, who's the big DJ, talked about how I was paranoid. I see Chris Kattan. He's making fun of me because he's playing Zanies. He's like, what are you doing? That was February 13th, Valentine's Day weekend. From that point on, I did a meet and greet with the mask. People are making fun of me. Every day since, it was just a little bit more in the press. The last big gathering was Funny You Should Ask, our last taping, whenever it was in March.
Yep.
And Lovitz was like, I don't know, it's just a runny nose. That's all it is. It's just a runny nose. And Sherry's like, black women don't get it. Okay, you got to edit all this out. Black women. And I'm like, no. And then we're chill. Everybody, no one was sick, but I'm like, I don't know, guys. And then the next thing I know, world shut down. So it was only because, and I hadn't been sick. I haven't been sick since. I've been paranoid.
Did you test? Did you get a test of the antibodies? Because I got one.
I want to, but I'm scared. But I should, but no.
Why would you be scared?
Well, because I was like, what if I don't have it? Then if I do have it, it's going to come back. I should get one. My question is, they also say there's a lot of false negatives.
I know. It's a lot of false negatives. I think there's a lot of false positives too.
What do you got?
I don't have the antibodies, and I'm not currently fighting anything either. So I'm not sick now, and I don't have the antibodies. But I thought in February I was also really sick. You test positive for ginger. Yeah, they were like, I hate to break this to you, but you have the ginger. And I was like, oh God. Well, thankfully it's not my real hair color. So Here's the deal. I think it was, I just want to know that it was here in December, because whatever the fuck it was horrible and it went away. But here's the thing, you might have gotten it from traveling abroad and came back. You know what I mean? So
Maybe.
it might not have been here. It might have been, who knows? The truth is that, look, I mean, I don't really talk about what I think about this with most of my friends because I could lose a lot of my friends. A lot of people.
Why?
This brings
You
out
should. That shouldn't be your friend.
No, that's not true. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and this scares the shit out of people. So some people don't agree with my beliefs.
Tell me what it is, because I want to hear. I'll still be your friend. But by the way, if you're not like-minded, go ahead. I want to hear.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
No, I mean, look, for me, I don't want to get anyone sick, and I don't want to get sick, but I don't agree with a lot of things. I think we're being led. I think we're being told, I think we're being told so many different things, like they contradict each other. I don't think you should be working out with a mask on. I think that actually suppresses your immune system. In fact, I know it. You shouldn't be breathing in your own, like it's not healthy for us to be like kept indoors like this. It is actually suppressing our immune system. I don't know what I think about a vaccine, and a lot of people are like, I'm not going anywhere until there's a vaccine, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't want you putting anything strange in my body. I've never had the flu shot. I've never had the flu. Like, there's just so many unknowns that it's really hard to have a conversation with someone who is so, they're so stuck in their beliefs, which is fine. They're entitled to it, but then they have to be open to other people's.
Okay. First of all, sorry, but you can't be friends with closed-minded
people. Okay, so then the podcast over.
So secondly, I totally agree with what you're saying. My whole thing is, I forget the comedian, but she had a great post today. She's like, congratulations, the virus is over. If the virus is over, according to all these people, and it's in Brooklyn, and it's all these hipster spreads, and they're literally just like almost spitting each other's eyes. Like they're all like laughing, like drinking a White Claw in the middle of the park today. And it's disgusting. And like she had a mask on and everything. So I don't think that should be happening. I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I'm fortunate. I have a backyard. You are too.
Yes.
But if I had an apartment, I always remember all my apartments had a roof. I would go there. If I would go out, I would walk the streets. There's a lot here in LA. You can walk around the hills. There's a lot to spread out.
Also, though, we're older. Now I'm going to ask you the question. If you were 25-year-old Jamie, 25-year-old, think about 25-year-old Jamie right now as you're about to turn 50. Think about 25-year-old Jamie. This is happening right now. What would 25-year-old Jamie be doing? Or thinking?
I'm still courteous, though. I know what you're saying. Listen, my whole thing is just don't affect other people.
Agreed.
So I would still like, this one thing just taught me you don't need a gym. There's so many great videos on YouTube. You don't. I've been working out in my fucking yard.
I know. I'm so tired of working out in my apartment, though. My house.
I know, but Jodi, you're going to Equinox what? To meet a bang out? Can I say that?
No, I'm not going to Equinox. Way too expensive.
She didn't deny the bang out part. She denied the fucking membership fees. So,
yes.
But like, you can do a lot of stuff. If it's anything, it's taught me we're all frontier people. Half my day is fucking sanitizing, scrubbing, and baking.
I don't even. It's hilarious. I don't do any of that. I bake. I don't sanitize.
I do all. I sanitize the fucking camera because I don't want you breathing through it.
Oh,
so
I was just tested. I'm fine.
I know. So it's like I'm just all about being courteous to others. But I will say this: there was only one cougher that I saw in this whole time, early March, right after I saw you. I went to Whole Foods, and one lady sneezed like 3 times, and she was like, looked at me, and she's like, allergies. And I was like, but that was it. I haven't seen one cougher.
I haven't either.
So I just protect yourself and do what you want. If you don't want to work out with a mask, that's fine, but do it in the area where there's nobody else. That's all.
No, I agree with that. It's just
what is your thing though? Like I don't even know. Listen, this could be a fucking hoax. They could be fudging the numbers. It could be Project Bluebeam. There's a lot. You can look at all this shit. Exactly. There's a ton of shit. I can go deep down that rabbit hole, or we can take it at face value. I will say this: in 5 fucking days, and this is me.
5 days or 5 years?
5 fucking days. I have not watched one bit of news.
That's great, isn't it?
And I feel amazing.
It's
And I
amazing.
never thought that would happen.
Yep.
And nothing. I only go to Twitter. Nothing. That is it. And the news somehow, I believe, was giving me panic attacks. There have been times where I felt I had a drummer going like this. And I'm like, did I just do a bump that I didn't know about? Like,
well, you are seat 6, so yeah.
I know, but I didn't. And I'm like, so honestly, that's no bueno, that shit. And I believe that there's a ton of mixed messages.
No, I believe it. I believe all of that. And I also believe, I think we talked about this before, like the most deadliest virus out there is fear. That is the deadliest virus. And it spreads faster than anything else. And fear makes people do crazy things. I think it's definitely tearing people apart from each other. You know what I mean? It's sad because when this first started, I thought, this is great. We're going to be on lockdown for 2 weeks, maybe a month, and then people will remember to stay present and to interact with people in real life. And now, I mean, we're going to have so much PTSD. I don't think anyone is going to want to get close to people. I mean, it's unfortunate because I want to fuck someone immediately, and I shouldn't have to justify that.
Wait.
Have to.
Wait, so.
Oh, are we doing?
No, that's going in. You're getting fisted. You're getting fisted.
Oh, I'm getting fisted. I thought you were a fist bump. All right. Well, either way, it's cool. Listen, you can fist me if you're wearing a glove.
Twisty
if you're wearing a glove, then you can fist someone.
Listen, I'm telling you, Jodi, it's to think that the world's going to go back. That's a pipe dream.
No, I think in 2 years.
Let me tell you something. The vaccine is going to come. I don't want the fucking vaccine.
I don't think we're not sure of that. I think testing and antibodies is going to come. And by the way, I've listened to several doctors that actually predict that in 2 years the virus will die out. It's proven. SARS did.
The herd thing.
Yes, it will eventually. You know what I mean? That's if you believe. And fisting will never die out.
No.
Here's the thing.
The virus.
But let me ask you a question. So, a lot of people.
But you're like, I can't wait to go back to normal. I'm just answering that. It ain't gonna happen.
No, it's not gonna be. It's gonna be a new normal.
Brad Williams is literally.
You told me. Is he performing right now? Is it happening?
He's the first deployed. Okay.
So these shows are happening right now.
Brad Williams is in Oklahoma right now. Brave motherfucker.
I would
goes out there. 35% of the capacity at one of the best clubs. No, but I've been watching it, and Adam Northwest, who has that club, and it's a new amazing club. Adam has Tacoma and Spokane, which are some of the best clubs, which I tried to get you to come to, but you were busy. Amazing clubs, and so he has a new one in Oklahoma, and Brad will sell out. I'm really fascinated to see because Brad will have 35% capacity, tables 6 feet apart. So it's like he's going to make 35% of his money, and we'll see. We'll see how it is. But it's like maybe he can do more shows. I don't know. Yes. But it's like, listen, I did a Zoom show yesterday with Ben Morrison, who's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm doing yours tomorrow. I liked it, but I felt like this. This is what I felt like. Imagine doing a show with people lying down on their couches in a club. How much fodder you would get, and then add this to it.
I've done that though. I've done clubs. The old Haha, if you remember, the old Haha Cafe. That back room had those like cool couches people were laying in.
But Ben did this fucking great joke, and I forget. I'm sorry, Ben. And it was so funny. And like this girl goes, "Haha, it's so true. It's so true." And literally, the feedback in the show. Through the Zoom, and I'm like, this isn't a fucking call. He's like, this isn't a call and response. So I'm up here. He made this amazing virtual background.
Right.
I'm like, treat it like a show, and people are commenting. Someone's like, Jerry, will you get some chips? Jamie Kennedy's on, and like, so you hear every nook and cranny, and I was I loved it, but I was slightly annoyed at the crowd. I don't know if they knew it because I felt like, but it was my fault because I was expecting a comedy club, and it's not. And so I was getting used to it. Was it great to perform? Yes. Am I adjusting? Yes. Do I think this is going to be the new way? Yes. Do I think we're going to go back right away? No. Because guess what? I don't want to follow a lot of comedians after they touch the microphone without a virus. Okay.
And I agree with that. No, that is for sure. But here's the thing. That's your microphone. You're going to be actually traveling with that. This is what I think is going to happen. See, I disagree with you in a way that comedy clubs, a lot of them are already conducive for this virus because people are sitting at tables. They have a waitress. The rooms can be configured in a way that tables are 6 feet apart. And they're sitting there paying attention to a comic who is far enough away from them without, getting any droplets on them. Comedians can come in through the back. They don't have to, mingle with people. They can keep their distance. They can bring their own microphone if they wanted to. You just make the room bigger. Do you know what I mean? So I actually think comedy clubs will come back sooner than you think. And the reason why, and so many people have tried to stream live comedy shows. I think it's going to become a part of the new normal, but just for the reasons that you said. And a lot of people will have it down where they can mute, the host can mute people's mics. We're going to be doing that tomorrow if people are talking and they're not really laughing and then they're just being disruptive. But here's the reality of it. It is distracting. Clubs count on a 2-drink minimum, so they're never going to go all virtual. It is distracting when you hear the laughs and you're not seeing the people. I think it's going to be this way for a little while, but I think clubs are going to come back sooner than you think, and they are going to do less, less capacity, and they might add an extra show to make up for it. Shows will be shorter,
Jodi,
more of them.
I don't want to fly. And
that's okay. You don't have to, but I would fly.
I know, but here's the thing. I think it's a good and bad thing. I don't want to fly to Daytona to do less shows for less cash with more risk.
Yeah, I understand that.
And I don't think I don't know what people want to come out. I think they do, but also what people have disposable income. Right. I do think the art form lends itself to this, but I also think the first time you hear a comic getting really sick or an audience member or a club that has it, when that happens, it's going to be a big story.
What about outdoor comedy clubs?
Great idea. Yeah. The drive-in was great. Here's what the virtual thing is great. I don't mind it. I think it's cool, but here's what it is. I felt like people just aren't as invested.
No, you need to see them.
I did a show this week and I literally saw people in the window eating dinner.
Yes, you need to see them. And they were like
big ass bowl of pasta, half asleep. And I'm like, why am I doing this? And I feel like, and it's not their fault, but it's like, I don't need to do it. And that's like, I want to do it. I want to stay sharp. I want to try new stuff. But it's like, I am a guy that does voices. I am an actor outer. I'm a big fucking seller of the steak. Sometimes I don't have steak and it's a lot of sizzle. And that helps me. And if I'm out here, you can't get it through there.
No, you can't.
It's not really my forte to be, if I was just telling you great jokes all day, then God bless you. But I'm not going to do that all the time.
No, you're not. I already know that about you. Well, wait a second.
Oh, look at
so you don't lie. You've hung out with at least someone during this lockdown.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right. So, and I have too. Like, I had my birthday last weekend, and I had people come over during the fisting. I got fisted, everyone.
I know who it was, and by the way, that didn't happen. By the way, that video would go viral. I know who it was. Go ahead.
Well, there's a few people that came, so you don't know all of them. No, but like I had a couple of people that came over they made like reservations at my house and they came over in shifts, but we sat outside.
Wait, report it. Go ahead.
We sat outside and it's different. It's different than you and I talking right now like this. It's different when I'm talking to someone else like this than sitting next to someone, even if it is 6 feet apart. It's the energy of the other person. And it's also because we grew up in the world of rotary phones and answering machines and seeing people instead of texting people. So for us, this isn't, thank God for our technology, but I honestly thought about it and I was going to do that for the Feeding America. That's what I was going to do. How would this be different if we were in lockdown in the 80s? How fucking different.
Yeah, it's true. Look, this is...
I miss the 80s, by the way.
I do too.
God, we'd be calling up Blockbuster. Remember when you had to call Blockbuster and ask them like what movies they had in stock before you went down there? Like, do you have Back to the Future? And I was like, do Back to the Future 2?
Yeah. And we'd be keeping it with the late fees on this fucking thing. Listen,
Yes.
who had the video before you?
Yes.
Listen, here's the deal. You cannot take this at face value. This is just my opinion, and I will always be your friend. And I don't know what you take it, but there's a lot of stuff happening on the underbelly. And you have to look at who's making money and who isn't.
Yeah.
First of all, is when people say they're bored, I say you're not creative. I haven't been bored fucking once. I've actually been pretty fucking busy. And you have been fucking busy. And I've been getting a lot of stuff done in my life that is not, I would normally not get attention to. I feel like it's a great reset and restart.
It is for a lot of people.
But you definitely need the interaction. And that's the one thing I know that you miss. And I do miss that too. But I'm kind of in quarantine in my life anyway. I go do a bunch of shows. It's like a machine gun. And then I go back and completely decompress.
That's exactly how I like it too. I like going out and then coming home. It's the being forced to stay home. But I can't tell you, and tell me if you felt this. I felt like a small sigh of like relief. In this industry, it's constantly who's doing what.
Oh, totally.
Who's on this show, who's doing that show, who's got this out. And social media just perpetuates that like constant compare and despair, which I've definitely talked about a million times on this podcast. But when the whole world fucking locked down, wasn't there a moment when you were like, oh my God, no one's doing anything. I can just relax and breathe. It's kind of how I feel during the holidays in Los Angeles, because no one's doing, it's just totally chill. I don't have to constantly be doing something, constantly moving. Did you feel like that?
100%. I feel like, right? I'm going to tell you two things with that. Yeah. So, and I talked about this, how I've been here.
Is that your credit card? Are you going to pay me?
No, I just realized I have a fucking Burke Williams that I probably never get to use.
Oh. Just bragging with your Burke Williams.
Who's going to put their fucking hands on me? So here's what it is. You ready?
Ready.
I came out here late 80s. San Francisco. I'll give you all the events.
Yeah.
The move. Remember the move in Philly in 1984 where they bombed the house and half the city was on fire? I lived through that. I lived through the San Francisco earthquake. I was in LA, but that was always a big to do. The riots. Mm-hmm. And then the 94 earthquake. This has a lot of that in it, way longer. But 94 earthquake was...
I wasn't here. I was still in Jersey.
Yeah, but at that time...
I went to college, everyone. That's when Jamie was just putzing around San Francisco. I was in college learning.
And I came back here and I was on the open mic circuit. And I remember I couldn't get anywhere, but I was starting to get like my tape into MTV. My tape. And I lived over in Beverlyville. That's like Beverly Hills adjacent.
Yes.
And I'll never forget, the earthquake happened. It felt like someone was violently shaking my head. I went on my roof of my little garage where I was staying, and it was black.
Really?
And I remember I drove by CAA, and there was a huge crack in CAA.
Oh, my God.
And to me, that was everything. It was like CAA, this perfectly designed building, had a huge crack in it.
So sad.
And it was like everything was leveled. And if you look at what's going on in this business now, I mean, that was just LA. This is the fucking planet. This is the rock. And everyone is leveled for way longer, more than 9/11, more than OJ. And I know you can say OJ is not this, but OJ was a seminal moment where we all came together. And this is like, they're talking about major agencies being dismantled here.
I know.
They're talking about a way of doing movies is completely different. They're talking about no live shows until 2021. Mid-2021 is happening. They're talking about so much shit. I'm saying your boss and my boss told me this year's a wrap. So it's like, I'm hearing this from people in the know. So I feel like there's no FOMO. And what I want to do is get my life completely in order. I'm slowly starting to get into creative.
Right.
And then I'm going to just sit down and I'm going to have a schedule of what's important to me and what I want to do. Working out has become more important. And making sure all my finances are in order, super fucking important.
Yep.
making sure that I have all my supplies. I know it's something frontier is important. And then after that, how am I going to keep doing what I love to do? And that's where I'm kind of at.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to come out of this, and I'm not saying it's happening right now, but 2 years goes by fast, and in 2 years, things will be relatively normal. New things will be in place for
Jodi,
future pandemic.
it's going to be new.
It's going to be new, but I'm saying a lot of people are not going to take this time to reset and
No.
adjust. They're not. They're going to go back to and it's like, I definitely don't want that. I definitely see a lot of people that are changing careers because of this, that are reevaluating everything. And that's great. I think a lot of people in our industry will not return to stand-up. I think a lot of stand-ups won't do stand-up as much. Maybe not the ones that were making a living touring, or maybe some of them will. I think there's, in every industry, you're going to have a loss of, like, you're talking about like agencies dismantling. I already know a couple of people that are agents that have already told me they don't want to be agents anymore. This was almost like the universe saying, you don't have to be anymore. You don't have to quit. You don't have to give up the money. That way you can go, here's a chance for you to find out something else. You could do something else. This is a chance for you to find out what else would make you happy, type of thing.
I think
I'm not going anywhere, but I definitely think my map of my career is definitely shifted, as is everyone's.
Why? Where do you see yourself going? And I'll tell you where I see mine.
You know, I really, obviously, more and more people are gonna. I mean, we already thought podcasting was like saturated before, but it's gonna be, out of control.
You've always been a fan of OnlyFans. That's what you were gonna say.
I was gonna say that.
And funny and porn. Go ahead.
I think I'm going to open a Pornhub account, and I think I'm just going to get fisted for cash.
No, but funny. You're going to write a script around it. This went too deep, too far. Go ahead.
Well, how many scripts do you think are going to come out of this about, like, I survived the quarantine? Like, oh my God, I'm going to shoot myself. That's another thing too. I don't want to do comedy shows where every comic has to talk about this, but it's like, it's just, I'm already just dreading it. It's, everyone's going to be, I mean, because what else are we talking about? It's like, we just lost how many months of our life, just like, poof.
I think what you're saying is true, and I feel like you have to talk about it. It's the new bar. I was going back to doing some old jokes, and they just weren't resonating, and I'm like, I can't talk about that. You got to talk about what's happening, and I think you have to address it and then kind of go on. But
yeah,
I think here's what it is: content is key, and I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be disrupted by this thing. I think this is going to make UBI, Universal Basic Income, come quicker than people realize. I think automation is going to come. I think there's going to be a lot of fucked up shit that comes out of this, and it's going to be some unrest. And it's also going to be a lot of good. But I'm just telling you, the gap is getting bigger. You and I are very fortunate, and you are now hitting on a point where people know you. You are in the world, and Byron is giving you your own platform, and you're going to be great. And I have done a lot of stuff. I'm not going to lie. I'm fortunate. My residuals have been coming in more because people are consuming content. I've done a lot, and I'm fortunate. Other people are not. But for me, I think it's all about making our content now and putting it out there. But I think it is going to be a lot.
It's going to be different. It's going to be different for a lot of people, and I agree with you in the animation thing, but also if the benefit that we just did is any indication, and or the talk shows that are still happening and SNL are any indication, we're getting more and more creative and better production value of recording things like this, or having a skeleton crew. I've always said this, that our industry is going to be the first industry to bounce back because we need content. It just is. And people are going to find a way to use the smallest crews, maybe more reality shows, which is, but you know what I mean? Like anything that they can do. I mean, Big Brother won't be affected by this. They just test them all and stick them in a house and they're good to go for like 3 months. But it is going to be a lot more of smaller crews, different shooting schedules. But I think our industry will bounce back. I think film and television will bounce back like sooner than others.
I mean, I could argue, you could argue that we're essential workers in the sense that people really I haven't even been that funny. And people are like, I really
know.
appreciate your
I know. I wasn't going to tell you this, but.
Well, you're not writing for me. So, and people are like, I just really appreciate you putting out some stuff and being funny on your Instagram or your funny little tweet. And it's like, people really are bummed out, and they should be. And it's like, listen, the last fucking 8 years of my life have been up and down, but I've gone through a lot, and I'm like still singing. So as long as I'm breathing, ain't gonna fuck me up. I'm going to fucking go. I'm fortunate. You know what I mean? So, and I think we're never going to be able to stop the creativity of the human spirit. The internet is always going to win.
I know.
And the fact that what we did, who we did it with, and how we did it, but that's special within 2 weeks, from the top of the food chain, Will Smith, all the way down to all of us in different versions, it was amazing.
You were going to say all the way down to Jodi Miller. That's what you were going to say.
I was going to say. Dude, but here's where we're at. I just think I'm talking about you and I are fine. I'm talking about the normal people, and it's such weird shit because I'm just saying there's going to be more funky shit than you think, and I don't know how much of a conspiracy theorist you are, but I think you're opening up more to it. I think you're more like, oh, well, this is a banana, and the doctor told me to eat the banana. I don't know why I always tell you these phallic things.
You do.
But I think there's more to it. I think there's a little bit more dirty underbelly. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that. 1,000%. I agree with that. And it's
so, but to think that you and I are gonna go 8:30, 8:38. Jodi Miller's up. Hi, Jodi, in the hallway. Hug, breathe. No, sorry.
I guarantee you, 2 years from now, that'll be happening.
If the clubs are still there.
Here's the thing. I agree with you with that. I think live entertainment will always have a place because it always has had a place, and there's something about live entertainment. Now, it's not going to go back.
You already said it, though. You're the first person to say it to me. Drive in.
I do love that, but, I think we're going to have both. I think it's going to be, obviously the landscape is going to change with everything. Here's my question to you. Looking at the next 50 years of your life, like, honestly, do you see yourself with a family? Like, does this make you think, I wish I had a family right now? I wish I had a wife that I just couldn't stand right now in the middle of a pandemic.
I mean, to go deep with you on that, it's so many things. It's like, oh, God, it's a good question. So here's the thing. It's like I could have been married a few times in my life. I've had girlfriends. I haven't.
Oh, all right.
I haven't been a total slut, but I never have committed because I've always been Jamie's needs first, and I've set up my life where I want to do what I want to do, and that's fair. And I'm the king of my own castle, just like you are. And I feel that, yes, definitely have thought about that. Like, you want to be around a tight-knit group of people that love you and know you and care about you. So, yes. But also, I feel like, how can I add water and make it there so everyone's 18? Like, in a sense, because I don't know if I want to do all the work. Like, It's a lot of work. And you know what? I kind of get that community feeling from small group of people I know. I get it from our community. I get that feeling when I'm on Funny You Should Ask. I get that when I'm in a certain club. I get that when I'm on a new movie set. I'm not saying it's fulfilling all the time, but there is those things. So it's hot and cold. Yes, definitely. But yes, also cautious because it's a lot of work. But yes, it's definitely made me feel it.
It is a lot of work. I'm trying to I'm going through the process of adopting, and it obviously.
Cat?
What? Another cat? No, I have so many cats. A real human baby, but it's definitely slowed with this. Although, having said that, so many babies are going to be born in 9 months.
Oh,
8 months. I mean, I'm counting on it.
With a cough. That was a joke. Hang on. Wait, they're not.
I want a Corona baby.
They're not just putting up babies right now. They're not just throwing babies up for adoption. Like, okay.
No, I haven't gotten a lot of like traction on the baby front. If there's any pregnant women out there, call me. I'm just kidding. Don't call me.
You're going to have to do that, though. When you do that,
Do what?
you don't have a partner. See how
Yes, I'm going to
2020
be
I
doing it
am?
alone. Well, I'd like to also have a partner. See, it's interesting that you look. I know
But is it you like men, right?
I do. Here's the thing. It's funny that you compare me. You compare me to like the alpha single, alpha. And I definitely put my career first. But anyone that's known me since high school knows that all I've ever wanted was that intimate relationship. I really have. I've always wanted to be married and be a mom. Not in the traditional sense, but that's definitely something I've.
Jodi, you're
tried
running 2 shows. You're doing 3 sets a night.
I know, but at
And
the end of the day,
afterwards,
who do
you're
I come home
fucking
to?
you're doing 2 Johnny Walker shooters.
It's Jack
Okay?
Daniels.
I mean, and then the
But at
next
the end of
day,
the day,
rinse and
who do you come
repeat.
home to? At the end of the day,
Mr.
like,
Sprinkles, and he's fine.
his name is Jersey.
Okay, and Jersey, and she runs right up there, and it feels soft. And if you look at her face and you just touch it,
It's a he. It's a he.
okay.
I told
And the
you
next
I
thing
like
you know,
men.
you can put a mask on it. I mean, look, at the end of the day, let's just say you had a dude. Let's just say you had a dude.
Right.
Okay. If you had a dude in our world, that's going to be annoying. And then if you didn't have a dude in our world, he's not going to get it. So I've dated both, civilians and both. And
Right.
I think in a better way, you have to be with somebody who's aligned, but they have to support you.
Of course.
Who's going to be the person? I've been with equals, and I don't mean that in a bad way, in
Right.
terms of busyness.
Yeah.
It's hard because you
Of
just fall out of, you never see each other.
Right.
If you're in the same world, you see each other so much, but you might get sick of each other. If you're there with somebody supporting you and they have their duties and you have your duties, that probably is the best way. But we're going into a new world, okay? I'm going to be fucking 50, okay? And let me tell you something. We're going into a world of virtualness. We're going into a world of apps, robots. How many millennials are fucking each other after one swipe? Jodi, that didn't exist 8 years ago.
Yes, it did. We fucked people after one drink.
Yeah, but you had to go and meet them. This is a fingertip, and then you're in the tip. Come on.
Agreed. But I mean, well, you've never been on a dating app, or you have?
Ish, but I was blown up on it, so I stopped. They blew me up. I wanted to be private. But no, I'm not. And you know what? By the time that shit came, it's Chris Millhouse's great joke. He's like, the buffet's been out too long. And he's right.
So gross. So gross.
But like, I don't know. Like, I just think like you are like, you're making your money, you're making your name, you're making your craft, you're doing your thing, and you're going to have your baby. And a lot of women in our business have done that. And if you who are successful, from Charlize Theron to Sandra Bullock, I know a lot of women who are very successful that do what you want to do, and you can do it.
Yes, I can do it. They also have someone that they can, get fisted by. So that's all I'm asking for. I want the fairy tale ending. I want the fisting.
But you said you wanted to be in an intimate fisting, and I'm just saying,
Yes, I can have an intimate fisting and a baby.
But is the fisting leaving, or is it staying in the back house?
No, the fisting can stay here. The fisting has its own thing to do.
Okay, good. All right, but then you're fine. But why do you just have a baby with the? Oh no, because you got to adopt it because the egg thing.
Because I'm of a certain age. Okay.
Are you? You know what? My mom had me when she was like mid-40s. That might explain some of the mild Asperger's.
Everybody says that.
Can I do this joke with no one? This is true, and I don't care. You can't tell her because she passed away. God rest her soul. My mom
passed away too, and I'm sure they're up there right now gossiping.
My mom had 2 miscarriages before me. Some people call me the third.
Bam!
But everyone groans when I do that joke.
I think it's hilarious.
I'm the walking miscarriage. That's a joke on me, but no one ever gets it.
Look, I think it's funny. Audiences, I miss that. I miss the groaners. I miss the people that are like too sensitive. I used to say, my mom recently moved in with me. It's not so bad though because she's on the mantle. And then I go, you see those people laughing? They have either lost a loved one or they have a mantle. One of the two.
Wait, because That's so good. I never heard that. I used to do a joke like that about
my mom?
people should really about people close. People should consider having a children, and they consider it. Would you rather have a baby or herpes? And I say, for me, it's herpes, because herpes only visits you 3 times out of the year. And it'll also always come back to love you. And I would do that joke, and I would go, 50% of you hate that joke. So that's why that joke never really worked.
Sometimes we do jokes that the audience doesn't really like, but we say fuck it because I love it. Isn't it? Don't you just some jokes like that joke I'll always do, and fuck it if people don't laugh.
How can no one laugh at that joke? It's your
people
pain.
Get super
it's
sensitive.
Your mother.
I don't know why. I know that's what I say. I once did a show. Usually there's people that laugh, but I once did a show in Silver Lake. Hipsters, sorry, but they were very woke and really upset about that. And it was total silence. And there was one woman laughing in the back. And I literally said, not laughing's not going to bring her back. And they still didn't laugh. And then I go, spoiler alert, we all die. And they still didn't laugh. And then I finally go, did you guys fucking know my mom? Like, are you? They were
Hold on. Three swings. Did the last one get a laugh? Hold on.
Only there was one woman in the back laughing. They still seemed so shocked. But I didn't care. I was like, fuck you. Like, that's my mom, my joke.
Okay. I live one town over from Silver Lake. It's called Los Feliz, and that's Silver Lake with money. No disrespect, Silver Lake. And Silver Lake can learn to suck a dick from the back. You know what I'm saying? That's what they can learn.
Suck a dick from the back.
From the back. It's when you put it through your legs, and then it's from the back. And then
how much dick do you get?
Not me. I'm just saying that's what they can do. Because in the nose is also ringing the doorbell.
In the butt.
You know what I'm saying?
In the butt.
So that's the fact. I did a show with you in Silver Lake, and it actually went way better than I thought.
Which
for
show?
Me.
Oh, yeah, no, I love it. The Virgil.
The Virgil. So
yeah,
I was scared. But
really?
Yeah, because that's a little bit of like jet
Sometimes
rag.
it can be, yeah.
You know, but, you know, the Shins B-side. But here's the deal is that if anyone's getting, I mean, I saw people talk about this. If anyone's offended by jokes after this, I may actually blow dart them from 100 yards and then back. Like, you can't. I know. It's like, it's done. Like, if you're offended at any fucking joke after fucking the fact that NBC put my ass on,
yeah, it was.
I'm impressed. The fact that they made it blurry, but I could still see a teeny bit of my taint. Big up to the censors, so I know there's hope for us.
How many girls were watching that and they were like, "I know that ass."
I got 0 in my DMs. I got 0 pokes. We didn't have enough promotion. I should have put my ass.
We didn't have enough Jamie Kennedy's ass promotion.
By the way, you're like, hey, I got a new bit for you. Do this. And I need it in 8 minutes.
Listen, it wasn't me. I was being told.
And then like I do it. I do 16 fucking takes. Then like my balls are like hanging in my shorts. And you're like, yo, stop yourself. I'm like, no, it's fucking heat in my shorts. Things grow. Easy bake oven. And you're like, not. And then like they end up using the original ass one, which you're like, we'll never get. So you tried to kill my ass.
I didn't try to. I was the producer that tried to save your ass. Literally.
But how I just think that's so great because that special was so great to be a part of because
really great.
It was a lot of work. And,
a lot of work.
And I feel so much better that we did it because it was like I was stressed and it was with all heavyweights and we all did it and we all made our mark.
It was really great. And I didn't think about the world outside of it for like 2 weeks. I didn't think about any of that bullshit.
Yeah, and we all came together and Hollywood sometimes can separate and there was people raw mix circles that normally mix. And I think that may happen more now. I think
well, it's easier to happen now if people are doing things remotely, for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's a good thing. I mean, I do think this is going to make us deeper as a people.
I really hope so because my fear is that it's pulling us further apart. We're getting less and less connected as a race, and that's a fear. No one's going to want to touch anyone anymore. No one's going to want to shake hands. No one's going to want to hug. No one's going to want to get
Jodi. You know some of the most shallowest bitches in the world, okay? You fucking have fucking Heisman a lot. Okay, you're constantly cleaning out. So how many bitches? Hi, girl. Air kiss, and you touch them, and you weren't close to them. So
I don't air kiss people. I hug people.
Yeah, but so to say that just because you're not touching them doesn't mean you're close. I disagree with that. You know, there's so many fake ass people that hug. Doesn't mean they like each other.
That's true. I just don't want that. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people I don't want to hug anymore, so I'm going to use this as an excuse not to hug them. But I don't want people.
I so agree with you. There's so many texts I didn't return. I'm like,
I know.
pandemic.
If you don't like return a text or talk to somebody during a pandemic, then you really don't want to talk to them.
No, but it's like I said to so many people, this guy like gave me this like kind of a hate email and redid my website. He's like, you know, I really designed that, blah, 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 and you didn't respond. And I go, pandemic. And then he wrote back, my bad, when you have some time. Literally, that's all I say. Pandemic. I mean, it's the great equalizer.
It really is. Can use it forever. I'm going to use it even when it's over.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to wrap it up, guys. I'm putting on my glasses.
There she is.
I would normally say, where can people find you? But obviously you're at home.
That's me.
I think our intro now, whenever I introduce people, when I host the show tomorrow night, because I'm going to host, it's going to be like, you've seen them all over Zoom. Put your hands together.
Wait, I only have to do 8 minutes tomorrow, right?
Yeah, but they have to be so good. Your life depends on it.
Well, people better fuck. Are you going to have, listen, I did shows. My first show was 5 people and they were dead and then were great. Then I did 6 people and they were great. Then I did like 15 people and they were hot and cold. And last night was like 35 and they were pretty good. So I don't mind doing 5 people unless you got them.
I don't either. As long as I can hear them laughing, good.
But when you see somebody like sitting on the couch and they take that stupid jewel and they're like, it's like that's what's hard about Zoom shows is the effort that they put in is not the effort that I'm putting in.
Right, but you can get rid of those people. You don't have to see them. You can erase them from your screen.
I don't control the Zoom. It's it's you. It's the
so we'll get rid of it for you. Don't worry.
I don't need to see them. I just like to hear them.
Yeah, that's all I want to hear too. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Next time I have Jamie on, we'll be in the same room.
No, we're going to be in the fucking studio, and I'm hearing that we're going to do it with no audience, and please let that be true. Can we please say that for your viewers? Is that true? Can we start taping?
I mean, it's something that people that we're talking about. So, yeah.
Okay. Everybody be safe.
Be safe.
Don't call her ma'am.
Don't. That's the worst thing you can do. Not give me corona. It's call me ma'am.
Would you rather be called bitch, ma'am, hag, hoe, hooker, and there's nothing positive in any of those. I was going to say boss, but obviously you pick boss.
Maybe hoe or hooker, because then I'd be getting paid for my work. Who doesn't like to get paid for their work, right?
Really quickly, the going rate in porn, I heard, and I don't know why, it's 800 an orifice. Just saying, what's your phrase?
Oh, 800 orifice.
So you got 5 orifices.
I think I'd
nostrils.
I think I'd make 6,400.
Ear, an old scab. Don't edit that.
Well,
how many? Wait, let's be real on a real tip, and I don't care who hears this. How many female comics are slowly going to start opening up an OnlyFans? Come on.
3 that I can think of right off the bat. I'll tell you who they are later.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in. I'm Jodi Miller. That's Jamie Kennedy. Don't call me ma'am. Don't call him ma'am either. I mean, you can if you want to, but, stay safe, guys.